I'm Leon Kolaski, and I'm here with a good friend of mine, Anne, and we wanted to describe to you her experience in working with myself as a healer and what that's been like for her. Welcome, Anne.
Hi, Leon. Thanks for having me here.
So when you first think of me and kind of this experience that we've had together with myself working with you as a healer, what first comes to mind?
Well, I think that the first thing that came to mind was um, obviously it must have been written all over me, but I was in a pretty painful situation, physical painful situation. I had a herniated disc, and you just kind of picked up that things were wrong, and so the first thing was that it was just that friend saying, "Hey, what's wrong? You don't seem like yourself."
Mhm.
And so I think when it was just that observation, and so honestly, when you and I first started talking about this, I wasn't like unloading on you as a someone who could help me heal. I was unloading on you because it was, I got to tell somebody how I
Open the door.
feel. Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is bad. It's a few months ago. And so, yeah, so that's really what came to my mind was, oh, I just have to kind of share this, or burden somebody else with it a little bit, a friend, and then it kind of opened up the door to talking about, how you could help. So that's kind of how it started. Yeah.
Absolutely. And full disclosure, so I work with Anne in my marketing business. She's a business owner, and I just noticed some things were just not as good as they could be. And that kind of opened up that conversation that you had just mentioned.
Yeah.
And so, talk a little bit about the initial discovery and kind of what that process was, because the first part of my process is really getting to the root of, what may, cause pain or an ailment or disease.
Yeah.
Want to
Yeah.
talk a bit about that?
And it's so interesting because your approach has been confirmed with, other people that I've talked to about this. The, the discovery kind of I had in working with you in the beginning was that there's a lot to pain, you know. There may be there can be a structural issue, right? There can be an issue in your body that's structurally, it's not kind of, you twist something, right? In my case, it was a herniated disc. But 50% of the people that have herniated discs have no symptoms of pain. So you kind of sit there and you go, well, what the heck's wrong with me? Why can't I get out of a chair? Why can't I walk down the hall to go to the bathroom, that kind of stuff. But anyways, and so it's that physical pain, but then also what was really interesting is when we first started to talk was kind of just unloading on that and the emotions that come with pain. Because when you start dealing with pain, you start dealing with issues of, well, avoidance, fear, is life ever going to get back to normal? There's a lot of stuff that's going on, right? And because I'd been struggling with it for quite a while. And what was interesting was you asked a series of questions that just kind of went from the surface to down a step to deeper and deeper and deeper until you really get to, fundamentally what, in addition to this pain, what emotionally is going on and what may have changed in your life, relationships, wherever it is, right? What may have changed recently, that is there something that may be correlated, and that was kind of one of the things that we discovered is when we kind of went through this stuff a little bit deeper, found out that there were some real, I guess, burdens or things that I was taking on. And apparently, I carry it all in my L3 and 4 vertebrae, but anyways, along my spine. That's my place. So
Mhm.
anyway, so yeah, it was a pretty cool discovery, and it
And even that had, some benefit to it, just being that
yeah,
like aha moment, and
yeah,
then being able to then actually work on the energetic body.
yeah,
afterwards. So if you want to talk a little bit about like, what was it? So where were you at, before we did this session? Describe your pain and what was ailing you, and then talk about maybe right after the session, and then, what you had noticed the days, that would follow.
Sure. It goes from, I would consider myself very high energy, strong, vibrant, active, 62-year-old woman, right? And riding my bike, doing a lot of walk, just I was that kind of person, to boom, not being able to get out of a chair. And it isn't just not being able to get out of a chair. It's just, it's like I said, that intense, sharp pain, constant aching, and then the fear that starts to build with that. And so it was bad, and you can't really focus and concentrate on almost anything. And so, so it begins to affect everything, right? It affects your responsibility to your job. It affects your relationships and your family. It affects everywhere, right? So anyways, it was very, very intense. And so, Lee, you had said, hey, let's get together and let's try this, right? So I was, when you're at that point, you're like, yeah, I'll try anything, right? And because I had gone through a couple of things with some doctors and different medications and various things, and they gave temporary relief. They kind of helped for a couple of days, but it just kept coming back, right? So anyways, so we kind of did the time together. In addition to the the digging, the digging into what else may be going on in my life, we went through this kind of relaxing process that kind of went on, I guess, maybe 60, 90 minutes, something like that. And there was really like immediate relief from something that's like a black cloud living on your back, to just having this relief, and then it's gone away. And I hadn't felt that good in months, and so so anyway, so the immediate was that just that intense relief of pain. And then after that actually becomes kind of the challenge on me, because you had suggested other things to do, other meditations, other ways to think, and how to deal with some of this. And so that takes has taken some discipline on my part to keep making that a part of my daily routine. But the subsequently being able to regain strength, regain some activity, and I've had to do other things. At some point you have to do exercises to strengthen certain things. But yeah, but you can't do those if you can't get out of a chair, right? So yeah.
You can't move. I remember very vividly, because the way that this came about was I had noticed, what was going on was starting to affect the business. So that's when I had, brought it up. I had known that you were, working with doctors and just not really getting, to the result that you had wanted. And so
right.
That conversation. And I remember your daughter and you being in the car, and we did like a FaceTime call, and she's like, what did you do to my mom?
Yeah.
Next day, difference. Even I've got a photo of you, prior to the session and then after the session, and it's like two very different people.
Yep.
So that was, a cool experience, to share with you for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you want to tell somebody that's thinking about, this type of, energy work, and what that can do for them?
Well, I'll tell you what's really interesting is, I'm kind of a skeptic, I'll be honest with you. Okay. So, when you brought this up, you're also at a point where it's like, okay, I'm going to do it. I mean, I'm a skeptic, but when I have a lot of confidence in you, but I'm also, I guess, kind of a believer. There's a lot that says, oh, come on. But then I'm also like, but no, I think there is a lot to this, a lot to pain and emotions and how it builds patterns in your brain and various things. I've really dug into it. So when I say skeptic, not a non-believer, but just, come on, is this going to work? What's going to work, right?
Mhm.
So I would say, if you're a little bit skeptical or anything like that, one, give it a try. Two, I did take the time to go through the regular medical ways, right? And sometimes you can get that temporary relief, but it's masking the symptom.
Mhm.
It's not really dealing with the core issue. And so this got much more, I think, at the core and in the mindset. And how can you get that energy? How can you, that positive energy you brought to help kind of lift the cloud, so you can do the things you have to do to also get better, the strength and the exercising and the things like that. And then subsequently, I've continued to work with a physical therapist, because I just want to know the right exercises, right? Because how do I fix this? And it's been so interesting, because here you almost have the Western medicine side that's coming in and is completely affirmed and said, yes, what we did was right. She said, that's exactly, so actually, as the Western medicine side, she's actually, when she's showing me exercises or some massage, she's also talking to me about the same exact things. What else is, in there? What's going on? Where's your emotions? So it's really fascinating how it's come around to, it worked for me. I'm a believer in it. And I would certainly, certainly do it again. I would try it again. I almost feel like I don't have to right now, because I'm, making progress, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things that's interesting too, just to note for people is that may be watching this, is that all of this was done without me, physically touching you. You're, I don't know how many thousands of miles away from me. I'm here in Los Angeles, and you're in Texas, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, I was Texas at the time.
It's kind of it's fascinating that this could even work. I'm still, as myself as the the vessel for this type of healing. I think it's just fascinating that it can have that big of a profound impact in something that's taken months or even years to come to a head, as far as the pain or the ailments that you had, that we could have such a profound change in such a short period of time, and really just shift things for you in a very positive way. So.
Yeah, it can really take over, and you have to be careful that that state of pain doesn't become your new identity,
Sure.
And so, just that the kind of constant meditations and thinkings, the additional things that you kind of shared with me and had me work on, that helps break that mindset. It just helps break that mindset of, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to be in pain, and I'm not going to be able to do the things I love to do, and it's like, wow, it's tough to break that. And, you helped out with that a lot.
Do you believe what I had done with you would work for others?
I do. Yeah. I think, you've got to be, it's a discipline, right? So yeah, I definitely think it could help others. I mean, I know it helps me, right? And so I think if you do go into it with the right mindset, and I'll be honest with you, when you did your, what you did on your side, we weren't on a Zoom call together. So, I was just basically sitting there relaxing. I wasn't distracted with anything else. I was really just sitting there relaxing and contemplating and thinking good thoughts, things like that. And so that part was kind of easy, and it was pretty amazing to see the difference in how I felt before we started and when I did start. And we also remember we did the salt bath too. So the combinations of all of that first day was pretty darn impactful. And then, but it's hard to, if you've had a couple of months of the wrong mindset, that's where, it takes the discipline, is to kind of keep the positive mindset going.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to this video?
No, I would say if you're in pain and you've tried other things and it hasn't worked, or even if you haven't, but if you're open-minded to trying to let positive energy, you know, in the world, in the universe, I guess, help. I'm not describing this right. I'm describing this as somebody who's just received it, but you know, this stuff is for real. It helped me, and yeah, I would do it. I mean, why keep living the way you feel now if you could spend some time and just get on a better track and get the relief you're looking for? So, you know, I would do it.